Just the top of the puck. Barely. Oh.
What's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto. Welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. Playing a little clip of the other night's game. Flyers beat the Bruins. Incredible comeback fashion. I'm trying to pull up chat. But yeah, we got two big wins last night out of both of our teams. Much needed out of both teams. As the Flyers are, they're slowly turning things around against really good teams. And the Sixers just flat out needed that win. But yeah, trying to get everything pulled up, waiting for everybody to come on in, getting settled. But yeah, we're going to be talking Flyers. We're going to be talking Sixers. We can talk Eagles. We can talk Phillies if you got anything. Baseball's been a little crazy. As the Astros, there's people calling to strip the Astros title, chat. I mean, we're not talking college. This is professional sports. People are talking about stripping the Astros title, and they might have a case. I'd love to know your thoughts and your case on those thoughts. Personally, I don't think it matters much. Like, here's what I'll say. I'm going to look at it in the most blunt view that I can put it on. If I'm an Astros fan, you can't take that parade from me. And at the end of the day, that's what we as fans want most, is to celebrate in that jubilation of a parade. For any of us that went for either the Eagles, a couple years ago, or Phillies back in 08, or, man, if you could have gone to any of the other ones back in the 80s or the Flyers in the 70s, that's what it's all really about as a fan. It's from a fan standpoint, like I don't really know what that would do to me, taking away the champion. I'd be like, I had that parade. You can't take away the brain cells that have already been taken away. So it's an interesting thing. There's, both the general manager and coach are suspended for a year, thus losing their jobs. And it's pretty crazy, everything that's going down and how they're getting caught. And, there's Alex Cora, the Red Sox, they mutually part ways. That was another one where it looked like there was going to be some going downs in that. And there's a kind of a big scandal in baseball right now, as far as like sign stealing goes. So it'll be interesting. Clearly the Phillies didn't steal any signs with the way they hit last year. Abadooch. But in all seriousness, it's kind of, we'll have to see what comes of all of this in the future, and if other teams get caught, or what's going to be made of this. Maybe technology steps in. Maybe you take signs away from maybe you take signs out of baseball altogether. Greetings from Finland. Tam Burlin. I'm hoping I pronounced your name right. I'm going to call you Tam, if that's cool, if I didn't pronounce your name right. But greetings, and whatever brings you here, thank you for stopping in. Welcome to the War Room. But yeah, getting into everything. So we're just kind of breaking down right now the intro of the show, and we're just getting into the groove of things. So we're going to be talking, like I said, we'll be talking Flyers, we'll be talking Sixers. I do like the the Astros and the MLB talk as well, if anybody's interested in that. Joel Embiid kind of had a story in the Players Tribune that's been making its rounds. We posted a snippet of that, a quote on our site, War Room Philly, facebook.com/War Room Philly. I really couldn't believe how much Philly had my back for the last few years. People have given me so much support through so many ups and downs, through so many surgeries and setbacks, through me breaking my damn face before the 2018 playoffs. It's bigger than basketball. And he's right. You love Philly sports. There you go. Damn. I love it. I love it. Welcome to, like I said, give us a follow. Like us, facebook.com/warroomphilly. It's all we do. Normally there's another person to my right. It's normally just two guys talking Philly sports. So yeah, welcome to the War Room. Also welcome Jay Ziggy. So yeah, we'll be talking about all this, and then this Embiid quote was really cool to me, and it's things like this. It's why we as a city do love Embiid so much, and it's weird. It feels like Utley and Howard, the duality of the fans, where speaking generally, like me, I personally love both Ben and Joel Embiid, but and as I did with Ryan Howard and Chase Utley, but it feels like it's so weird how we love Joel Embiid, and even through all the injuries and everything, we love him for everything we got. But then there's Ben, and there's a lot of, how do you best put it? It's not that and it's not that there's hatred towards Ben, but it's like, a lot of people get overly frustrated with the lack of shooting for Ben, much like for Ryan Howard, the strikeouts. And it's so funny how Joel Embiid can almost seemingly do no wrong, and Ben Simmons can at sometimes do no right. But no, obviously we all know that's not the case. And again, with what most fans want, and including me at this point, is we all just want to see the best of Ben Simmons. You've had Brett Brown now even call him out in the public, and you've just kind of had all kinds of things. But us as a fan base now, it almost seems like, and it's like, it's especially when teams are sagging off you gotta take advantage of that and create spacing for the rest of your court. So, with that, now that Embiid is out, and again, referring to one of these surgeries, another surgery he's having, and again, we're all supporting him. In a way, it's like Philadelphia looks at this and like, okay, well, it's his hand, so it's not a lower body injury. It's not a back injury. It's nothing. It's not one of these injuries that like is a repetitive of something that he's had before. It's not foot, anything like that. So it's all right. Well, it's his hand. That's fine. And as long as he stays and as long as he can, keep up with his conditioning, we see it as basically 2 to 6 weeks that he can't get hurt, and 2 to 6 more weeks closer to the NBA playoffs with Embiid here. Because really, and Embiid has made it pretty clear, that's all he cares about this season is getting to the playoffs healthy. Which is, it's strange to hear a player come so outright and say it. And again, we as Philadelphians are like, bold strategy, but I'll accept it. We get it. Like, okay. Yeah, he's that's really what, at the end of the day, he wants to win a championship. And if you go to the Players Tribune and take a look at it, you can see there's some really strong quotes where he even comes back to the Shaq and Barkley thing, where he's like, I respect what they say and everything, but in 2020 you can't just play in the post, and he kind of, you can't play in the post the whole game, and he kind of even reverts back to his things on that. So it's interesting, and I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to be the college professor that reads you the syllabus on the first day, but I will say from my thoughts from reading it, was that you see a player that is hungry. What happened this whole year with the Eagles? Not the whole year. What happened this first half of the season? All the wide receivers that we were questioning, and a lot of effort, and I was here saying, where is the hunger? They're not hungry dogs, they're satisfied puppies. Well, Embiid is not a satisfied puppy. He is a hungry dog. And I hope it's infectious to the rest of that team in that locker room. I think another player that could add to that locker room, if I can transition in a little bit, is, kind of talking trade deadline moves for the Sixers. But I would absolutely love the Sixers to take a shot at Derrick Rose, who at this point in his game has kind of really reworked his game. At this point in his career, I should say, has really reworked his game. Talking about a guy that when he came into the league had in like Madden or NBA 2K ratings 100, like a bit like athleticism was 100. And, many injuries later, he doesn't have that, but he's developed a 3-point game, which the Sixers could really use, by the way. Developed a really nice mid-range game, and he still has those tangibles. Those tangibles that you lost, or those intangibles, I should say, that you lost when Jimmy Butler walked out. And I would say that's the one thing. When we got Richardson in that deal, I said, you got someone that plays like Butler, but you're never going to replace the intangibles that Jimmy Butler gets. Derrick Rose can bring that to your locker room. And what else he would do was he would be an infusion of offense coming off of the bench. Kind of what most people wanted JJ Redick to be last year for the Sixers. And he was coming from the starting lineup, of course, is what I'm saying. That was not a shot at JJ Redick. Who also has weirdly been bounced around a few times. I've heard his name come up, and I would take him back with open arms, of course. But personally, Derrick Rose is number one on my list. And floating around, like his name has been. It's going to be on the trade market. He's out there in Detroit. So yeah, it would be interesting. You can see what the Sixers could package together. But it's, for a guy like Derrick Rose, you're not going to be moving like Josh Richardson or anything like that. So, Richardson is kind of your biggest trade block. I don't know if guys like Mike Scott, Furkan Korkmaz, things like that get it done. You might have to start pushing. We all like Matisse Thybulle, but you might have to think about doing that. And honestly, I'm a big Matisse fan, and I don't know if I do that for a Derrick Rose. But that's where it's going to start to be going, where with this team is, you got those guys like Norvel Pell, and, you got these guys at the bottom of your bench. But what are they really worth? Like, what's a Zaire Smith worth? They're not worth that much. Now, counterpoint to myself, you flipped Robert Covington and Dario Saric last year for Jimmy Butler, so who knows? Score and give it back literally 2 seconds later. Oh my god, it's 1-1 at the end of one on the Flyers game. See, that's the one thing I can't do, Joe. I'm glad for the update. Thank you. Who scored? I'm so keyed in to just doing my thing since it's it's just me here tonight that I'm here. I mean just me. We got chat. The chat is bringing it. We got Finland in chat, Joe. Someone from Finland here. That's bringing it back. You've been here when we had some EU viewers way back in the day, the Flyers post-game shows. Oh, you're at the game and you got War Room Philly on? That's my man. That's my dude. Oh, I love it. I love it. Farabee with the goal. All right. Yeah, the big news with the Flyers, and since Joe's at the game, I can talk a little Flyers real quick, since I know I only got a little bit with Joe on here while he's at the game. Carter Hart being down in 2 to 3 weeks, or 2 to 4 weeks, I think was the the timetable. It's a rough break, but it's not as bad as it could be, right? Let's be real. We can manage 2 to 4 weeks, and look, we can all say what we want, but Elliott has played solid this year. I think, given his expectations, he's met them, and, as fans, probably broke ours, because, let's face it, he has not been, the biggest fan favorite. But I've said it a couple times this year. I never liked Brian Elliott, the starter, but I really like Brian Elliott, the backup. And he and and Carter Hart have been a very solid 1-2. And Carter being the one, of course. But yeah, Joe, you're absolutely right. And I started off the show. I mentioned that in the start. We actually started off the show, Joe, with we watched the Flyers Bruins shootout. So if you want, when this will be up on VOD as soon as we stop streaming, and then I'll put it up by tomorrow morning. It'll be up on YouTube. So just go to facebook.com/warroomphilly and check about 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. I have no idea what time Finland it is, but check around 10 a.m. and yeah, we'll have it up. As I get a little shot from a Starbucks. But yeah, the Flyers have really played. They're turning it around. They played, let's face it, for what, 2 weeks? Dreadful hockey. That road trip really took a toll on them, and that's still something that this team is going to have to figure out. Is why do you play? It's funny, the Sixers are almost in the same boat as well. Why do both of these teams play so much better at home than on the road? We get it. We're awesome. I'd play better in front of me as well, but as teams who both are searching for their identity, you need to be playing. You show us your identity. What is it? And you can't just be, if inconsistency is your identity, that's not good. And again, that goes for both teams, weirdly, right now. That St. Louis game changed your view. You know what? The St. Louis game, and that, I mentioned it in the beginning, let's not count out that Boston comeback. Down 5-2. Huge comeback. But yeah, and yeah, you're right. They could have folded last night, or they could have even just been satisfied. We got the point. The old overtime. We got the point, especially against the West Coast. Teams when it's cross conference, they see just getting 1 point and they kind of become content. They become satisfied puppies instead of hungry dogs. Flyers were hungry dogs. Yeah, you were there for the Boston game too. Nice. Yeah, it's certainly this is more the hockey we need to see from this team. Maybe Carter Hart going down rallies them a weird way. Like I keep drawing odd parallels. Like again earlier in the show, and we'll talk more about it, about how I think certain players will weirdly be able to get more into the groove without Embiid. Well, maybe with the lack of Carter Hart being there, this offense tries to really get going, because let's face it, the defense and the goaltending from both Carter and Moose have been great, at least good to great this year. But where the Flyers have struggled most still is that, the forwards and scoring. So, and specifically, they need to get more. We've called them out last week. They need to get more out of Voracek, who scored the game winner. And they need to get more out of James Van Riemsdyk, who maybe will score the game winner tonight. But if those guys could just give you like a half of what they're worth contract wise, this team would really take a step forward. But if not, you're seeing the guys like Farabee, some of these younger guys, Frost, like they're starting to hit a little bit of that wall. And now hopefully they can push through it, and we'll see. But if they hit a wall, he's done with JVR. Dude is literally, yeah. You know what, Joe? Maybe I put the curse on him, because I was really excited about that move when they got him back. Even though it was very against everything that I had preached, right? Get different, blah, 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 blah. Like I'm just like yapping nonstop, saying to get different, and then they got JVR, and I was like, I love this signing, because what I had thought was that JVR had progressed offensively as a player. Well, really what happened was that he was just in a good system around, a hot line, and that's why he got 34 goals, and he'll probably never get close to 30 again. But yeah, that was that, and this is where the parallels kind of fall, is with the Flyers come trade deadline. You're looking to just you're not really expecting him to make a splash, but you're like, man, if you could do anything, just get rid of the two players I had just mentioned, specifically JVR. But like realistically, if you could get anything for Voracek, just to push some cap, just to clear some cap room, to really set yourself up for next year, I think that's the move. We were talking about almost like a miniature process for the Flyers where we see it now. There is a good nucleus, but they're those two players away. Like if JVR and Voracek were anything what they were supposed to be, they'd probably be right up there, even in this Metropolitan Division. In fact, even with those players playing the way they are, even with losing Oscar Lindblom, who was your leading scorer at the time, you're still right there, right on the edge of the playoffs. And again, going into this season, that is what I said about this team. I said, look, they're probably going to miss the playoffs, but not to their own fault, but because they're playing in the best division and the best conference in hockey. The East is really good this year. The Metropolitan is really good this year. So when I said this year that I didn't think they'd make the playoffs, it wasn't like in years past where I said it like as a curmudgeon. I almost looked at it as like they're going to miss the playoffs, but I see some positive things. Did I see Frosty's goal? No, unfortunately, I didn't get to see either of the games last night. It was a busy night for me. But yeah, I actually listened to the third period coming home, so I got to listen to the end. Not the whole third period, but I did get to listen to the end of the Flyers game, including overtime and everything. Oh, for the Phantoms. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. Yeah, no, Frosty with the fan. No, I didn't, but maybe I can find it. Was it a, I'll look it up, see if I can find it. Nah, it looks like I just got pictures, and I want to just give everybody dead space while I Google the internet, but my brain can't do more than one thing at once, so I don't know if, if I can search. Well, what's this? Look on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, I got. It looks like I might have a Twitter video up here, but it's not playing. Either way, I'll check it up after the show for sure. But yeah, that'll be fun to see. But yeah, getting back into the swing of things. As far as just wrapping up a little bit of Flyers talk as they're moving in, and you're not really wrapping up the Flyers talk, but switching gears as we're coming into the last half hour of the show or so. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this Flyers team can do with Carter Hart now. MIA, not MIA. We know when he'll probably be back. Let's say 4 weeks. Alex Lyon coming back up. It would be nice to start seeing, maybe some players step up offensively. Because that's really, as a team, what you can do best. Like I said, everyone else has really been playing to code. Including Moose. So, yeah, I think this team really can... They can, even playing the way they've been, as long as they can keep playing to the level they played against these, the 4 teams that they've beaten recently, these top teams, even if you can just play somewhat towards that level, you'll be able to hope to ride the ship. And this year is going to maintain, it's going to stay interesting. And again, I think this is a trade deadline for the Flyers where you look to sell so that your future is brighter, but if you can add a young piece that you want to sign up, do it. Don't go signing and don't go getting Andy McDonald's and signing them for 6 years. But if you could find a younger forward, You know, a la Kevin Hayes, someone better than him, ideally. A winger, a really talented winger. Get him in at the end of it, maybe, you know, on an expiring contract and sign him. That's kind of where, you know, that would be kind of like where I was with the Phillies last year and they didn't listen to me. Yeah, as far as that's where the Flyers, that's their future as far as the rest of the season goes. And yeah, with the Sixers, just kind of double backing on getting back towards that. Getting back to, you know, the Flyers and everything, or the Sixers. I'm sorry, I was reading. Yeah, you need to see more like last night, but again, this team, it's hard to feel good about the Sixers when the expectations are so high, when you haven't seen the right improvements. You're still, forget the jump shot, you're still not even seeing aggressive Ben enough. Now again, hopefully with Embiid, like last night, that was good. Last night was a good showing. But you know, this team, what did Simmons have last night? Yeah, so he had 20, 11, and 6. Not a bad night. Not a bad night for Ben. Which again, I kind of admitted that I didn't watch. But the reports were that it was aggressive, Ben. And it's what drives us as fans so nuts. Is it's like, why is it seemingly selective? And as far, we just, you need to start, when the defense, look, I don't care that he doesn't shoot the jump shot every night. When a defense sags on you, you have to. I don't care if you miss, you got to take the shot. And as far as, like, you know, this, now that Embiid is out, Horford's got to get going. Really, it's like Horford, it's to the point where you're like, can we get out of this? Because he's shown us nothing this year. Can we get out of it? Like, are we looking to trade Horford? And that was a move from the start that didn't sit right with me. Why are you getting an aging center and putting him now in a more athletic position? It didn't make sense to me, but defense. Bah, 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 bah. Well, offensively, what does Al Horford give you when Embiid is there? What is his role? Even when he wasn't there, his role seems to be in the offense this year to miss threes. And why Brett Brown continues to encourage these guys like he's a little league coach drives me nuts. You lost that game the other night to the Pacers because you were encouraging, with the lead, a bad shooting team to continue to shoot poorly. And what did they do? They continued to shoot poorly. And what happened? You blew the lead. Look, I understand some nights you got to take desperate threes because you're down and you're trying to get back into it. But when you're ahead and it's the third quarter and you're still chucking up threes and you're shooting 4 for 25, that's bad. And that's when it's on the coach. When he's still clapping, go, no, shoot the ball, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. No, drive to the net. Maybe they're giving you open threes for a reason. You're not making them. Jebaited is what we call it in the Twitch community. Master jebaited. So, yeah, right now, last night was good. We need to see more of that. We need to see more. We need to see consistency. Tobias Harris and Al Horford really are the problem this year. Because Richardson's been playing pretty damn dominant. Eastern Conference Player of the week the other day, or the month the other week, I mean. He's been giving you it. And right now, he is your biggest trade chip. But, you know, I don't know that that's someone that I'm just really trying to get out of the door. That's like, you got to get a superstar in return. I don't really know what's out there that's worth trading Josh Richardson for. To be honest with you, I think this team, if anything, you would want to trade Al Horford, but that's not happening 100%. So for me, it's you just need to add. Add to the bench. You need a really offensively talented sixth man. And you're probably going to be looking something around like a three-way trade, because maybe you move pieces like Mike Scott as well in the deal. But it's like, what are people like Mike Scott or you got Mike Scott and Ennis on this team, so you really don't need both of them. And then again, what I get most nervous about is the possibility of trading Matisse Thybulle, which you don't hear a lot of because no one wants to talk about it. But he is a big trade chip. Now, I was all for trading Landry Shamet to get Tobias Harris, but I'll be hard pressed to find somebody that you're going to be able to bring on to this team that I'm willing to give Matisse Thybulle up for. Because in my opinion, he's gonna be your sixth man in 2 years. He'll be what we need right now in 2 years. But that offensive game has got to grow. You already see his defense is damn good though. And that shot when it's on is nice. He's got a pretty stroke. So that game is going to come. I saw it in college the first 3 years. You look at all his numbers. You look at the tape. He's got the shot. He's got the form. Now it's just going to be, adapting to the NBA and moving forward with that. But yeah, that's as far as the Sixers and Flyers. It's kind of the next big step as we move forward and closer is to these trade deadlines. Is what are we going to, what are both teams going to do? And how are they going to, hopefully significantly improve their future? For the Flyers more next season, for the Sixers more immediately. I guess maybe saying for the future, I mean like the future by the playoffs for the Sixers, and I mean the future like next year or two for the Flyers. So, speaking of the future, and moving into, kind of the last segment. And again, if you want to talk Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, anything, you got a show you like, bring it up. And if you're watching us on YouTube or anything, feel free to tweet me at War Room Philly. I'm on Instagram, Facebook.com/War Room Philly. Comment us, message us at pretty much any time. Keith and I are available to answer questions and talk. And just, chat. About literally anything. Joe has messaged us. We've talked about Star Wars. We got no problem talking things that we like. So yeah. At any point, or drop us, I don't know if we've gotten any YouTube comments yet. The YouTube thing is still kind of growing. I'm trying to get enough momentum with that I could be like YouTube/War Room Philly. But yeah. Sad to hear about Carter Hart. Yeah. It's but at least it's, hopefully he's not Deshaun Jackson in it, right? He didn't take time off. It was an injury. He got it done, and hopefully he'll rehab from it and just come back, and it's not a lingering thing. But yeah, Carter Hart is really, as fans, he's like our rallying cry this year. He's like the great white hope. And I've said, even going into the season, it's so much unfair pressure to that kid. But hey, he's handled it pretty well. He's had his ups and downs this season. Now, obviously, with the injury, it's more of a down. But credit to Moose, who has been a very steady backup. I like Elliott, the backup, much more than the starter. Now he'll have to hold in, and this is what backups do. This is what good backups do too. Is sometimes good backups got to hold down the fort and become a starter again. And now we'll see how he can do, because he's gonna you're really not going to want to see Alex Lyon in there at all unless you're pulling Elliott from the game. Ideally, Lyon, maybe starts 1-2 games over this stretch, but you're going to be like, hey, Moose, you got to hold it down right now. This is what backup goalies do, and this is how you got to hold down the fort. You're not going to have any load management right now. But once Carter Hart's back, then you can take a breather. But yeah, moving into some Eagles talk. There's been a lot of talk, about offensive coordinators. Dave Fitt, everybody's favorite. He went to the Bears. He's going to be quarterbacks coach for Mitch Trubisky now. And I see that, and I'm a little disappointed because, all right, I didn't really want him here as the offensive coordinator. But damn, I wanted him back as the quarterbacks coach. Because, in my opinion, 2017 and even 2016, I thought that he did a very good job with Carson Wentz. And this year, I'm not really sure how much of the coaching staff I'd like to give any credit to, for Wentz. I really see a lot of this year Wentz did it on his own. In fact, I saw a lot of things that could have been coached up, especially in the beginning of the season with Wentz. Granted, he finished to form and looked damn good, breaking records with no wide receivers. But yeah, this the offensive coordinator search continues, and there are names that have been floating around here and there, but just, not to beat a dead horse, not to regurgitate everything from last week. But I'm okay with the fact that they haven't hired Deuce Staley. I've been on record many a time saying maybe I'll be wrong if it happened. I don't like the thought of bringing in Deuce Staley here as the offensive coordinator. It's nothing personal. I just look at his track record, and again, maybe this is head coaches wrongly throwing him under the bus, but we've heard both Chip Kelly and Doug Peterson say Deuce is in charge of the running back rotation. Deuce is in charge of the running back rotation. And we as fans have seen, like, well, then why is this running back out for the set? Why is it on 3rd and 1? You have, when you had, even going back to the LeGarrette Blount days, you're like, why is Sproles? And it was like, let's if you look back on it, we've questioned the running back rotation, rightful or wrong. If that's on play calling, then it's wrong. That's all I have, honestly. Which is why if Deuce does get hired, I will fall back and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna trust Doug Peterson, because at this point, Deuce doesn't get fired, Doug Peterson does. You don't fire another offensive coordinator. Doug Peterson's the next one to go. So if Doug Peterson's saying, I trust Deuce Staley with my job, alright, I'll fall back to that. Show me what you got. I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan. We've heard names like Jim Caldwell. Fans have wanted Jay Gruden, although Adam Schefter, time and time again, has pretty much said that he's going to Oakland if he can't get a head coaching job, which I don't think he can. So you're gonna have the Gruden Dog Bros over, and I guess it's not gonna be Oakland anymore either, right? I guess they're moving to Las Vegas, the Raiders. So as the search continues, yeah, it'll just. I want one of two things. I want maybe I want someone with, like, head coaching experience, whether it be even from the college ranks or the NFL. I want someone that Doug Peterson can look up to. Or I want someone that is young, hot, and fresh, and that Doug Peterson kind of looks at and like, oh, this guy, he's going to be the next head coach. But I'm going to steal some ideas, or he's going to run, run my offense and help me with that for now. I either want like what the Eagles perceive to be the next hot item, or I want them to go with a wise veteran. But either way, I want someone. I would like someone that's quarterback heavy. I would like someone that find someone that's coached Ben Roethlisberger. Find someone that has ran a scheme that you could tailor around Carson Wentz. That's personally what I would like, and it seems like Jim Schwartz is going to be here, which I'm okay with. But I think Howie Roseman's got to take control of that defense as far as personnel, because we saw a couple times where I don't really think Jim Schwartz had the right personnel decisions made. So it'll be a grueling couple of weeks. You get the playoffs this weekend. You get the Final Four. I actually didn't even realize that I got a San Francisco. I just wanted some Flyers colors on. But I got you got the Niners and Packers, which I'm rooting. I think the Packers are gonna win that game. And on the other side, you could be seeing Andy Reid versus his first thing. Oh, that's right. I was gonna troll this week and wear my Steve McNair jersey. That's right. But yeah, how about the Titans though? Can the Titans really do it? They are red hot, and they just beat who I thought was the hottest team in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. But it turns out the hottest team in the NFL is the Tennessee Titans. I always knew that Marcus Mariota could get to the Super Bowl. Just thought it'd be as a starter maybe instead of a backup. But I'm wondering how a lot of Eagles fans are going to watch this weekend, because, look, I know, in my heart of hearts, I know I should be so thankful for everything Andy Reid did, and I am. But if I was really, truly thankful, I wouldn't have all these evil voices in the back of my head. Watch him lose. I want to see him call a timeout. Like, I don't know why, but every time I go into watching an Andy Reid coached game, now as the Chiefs, I'm like, I like Andy. I get good. But then when I see him, fail, or his team fail in the, Andy Reid ways, oh man, those demons. They get so excited, and I don't know. It'd be kind of funny to watch that again. Some poor clock management. They got Mahomes though. Mahomes is potentially great. I'm talking like, look, Donovan McNabb was great, right? Mahomes might be better than that. Just insane. And Mahomes may be the one quarterback great enough to take Andy Reid back to the Super Bowl, and who knows, maybe he gets it. That being said, Titans Packers Super Bowl. That's my prediction. I'm still gonna roll with it. I know Keith's got the Chiefs. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs in San Fran for Keith, just so we have some opposites going. But yeah, that's my Super Bowl pick, and we'll find out who's going to the Super Bowl come the end of Sunday. And I think I'll watch this week. It was really hard for me to first off, GDQ was on, so I was way more hype about video games. A good escape, not thinking about football for a weekend. Because I was still kind of am butthurt over just, look, I'm not mad that the Eagles lost. I'm mad that Carson Wentz never got a shot. I'm still so mad that, the one thing The one silver lining I was going to take from this season was, yes, we got a playoff game on tape from Carson Wentz. We got 9 freaking minutes. We got 9 minutes of Wentz. And I feel so robbed. So yeah, it was good to see the Packers beat the Seahawks. It was really good. I ignored that game. It was good to see the next day on the scoreboard that the Packers beat the Seahawks. And, you know, I do think that Aaron Rodgers is quite possibly not the best. Don't jump down my throat. But I do think that he is maybe quite possibly the most talented quarterback of all time. Now, he just hasn't won enough. It's almost like it's almost like the LeBron thing. Like LeBron versus Jordan. It's kind of like Rodgers versus Brady. Like, if you put, you know, like, I think Rodgers is better than Brady, but Brady is the greatest of all time. Pure talent, Rodgers can do everything that Brady does, but Brady's the greatest of all time because of intangibles, because of X, Y, and Z, because of cheating, because of all of these things. But yeah, it's, you know, that's what greatness does, and it's what you think about. And hey, speaking of greatness, how about Harold Carmichael? Finally, Harold Carmichael gets into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he gets in a very honoring centennial class, the 100th year of the NFL and its Hall of Fame. So it's, you know, it's a very it's what they call the centennial class of the Hall of Fame, and I gotta be thinking a little bit, like, I miss getting out there for Dawk, and I've never been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so it's like, maybe that's a good time. You know, I never got to really see Harold Carmichael play, but I do know there's gonna be a lot of green down there. So maybe that's no, or maybe I wait. You know, maybe I wait for Donnie Mack to get in. No, I don't know about that. I don't know that Donnie Mack ever gets in. Although, just because I don't think it, I wouldn't mind seeing it. It'd be really fun. But yeah. Getting down to the final thoughts segment of the show. If anybody's, oh no, it's 3-1 now. I'm sorry, Joe, you're there. You're pulling your hair out. (3-1) right now, currently in the second period. Still a lot of hockey to play. But yeah. As far as final thoughts goes, I guess my final thoughts were, I just didn't segue properly into it, was the Harold Carmichael thing tonight. But yeah, again, only can go off of hearsay and legends, but a guy that big, that tall, that could move that fast. It's weird, I heard him compare Zach Ertz to himself recently, and it's like, that's crazy, you know? He was like that dominant type, but then Zach Ertz ain't Harold Carmichael quick. I mean, in fact, Ertz is approaching Harold Carmichael's Eagles record for all-time receptions career, which is incredible that Ertz is going to quite possibly break a wide receiver record. And it shows you what. Look, Tony Gonzalez just retired, you know, not too long ago, but his impact was so fastly felt on the NFL. Speaking of Hall of Famers and great players, the fact that, and not only that, it also shows you how bad historically the Eagles wide receivers are, is that we've only had Harold Carmichael, and that Zach Ertz, a tight end, is going to break a wide receiver held record for receptions. But you know, you really just see the evolution of this game and how these tight ends are just so big, strong, and fast. Now, is the 2 tight end set ideal for a guy like Carson Wentz? That's maybe the first or second conversation I want the new offensive coordinator to have with Doug Peterson. I gotta be honest, I don't know that I trade Ertz. I may consider trading Goddard before I go and get rid of a guy that's approaching Howard Carmichael's record, by the way. That being said, Ertz isn't untouchable. You know me, I never like to say anybody's untouchable. If you got the right package, I say it. Let's see it. Make some wheels and deals. That being said, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I mean, we had somebody from Finland in here earlier, which truly warms my heart. It's always the flyer shows that bring in the EU customers or the EU viewers. Even back when Greg used to be here, we would do some flyers, like some post-game shows, and we would have Flyers Fan UK was his username. I still remember it. And he would watch us. Him and Joe every week. Credit to those guys. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, both live and again on-demand viewers. You are just as important to us as the live viewers. If you have anything you agreed, disagree with, hey, you can flat out, hey idiot, you missed this. Why didn't you talk about this? By all means, feel free to let me know. I am not opposed to criticism. Just bring it. At War Room Philly on literally anything you can get a hold of me. At War Room Philly right here on Twitch. Facebook.com/War Room Philly. Twitter, Instagram. Whatever else I'm missing. I probably got it. You want to send me money? Venmo, at War Room Philly. Send me money. But yeah. With that, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, back in our OG time slot, 7:30 to 8:30 East Coast Western time, East Coast time zone. Oh God. So, with that, as I failed to sign out, thank you guys all for tuning in one last time. I am Anthony Pinto, and we are out of here.